Sound check. Good morning. So, good morning, everyone. So, before we start, let us seek the guidance of our Almighty Creator through a prayer to be led by Engineer Asistel Broas. Thank you, Engineer Broas. So, before we proceed, may I first request our Secretariat to do a roll call of those who are in attendance today and to determine if we have a quorum amongst the members of the Bids and Awards Committee. General Mario, please.
Good morning po. Kindly raise your hand po to be acknowledged. Engineer Richard D. Santos, Chairperson. Engineer Divina M. Javier, Vice Chairperson. Miss Gemeline Rose D. Garcia, Regular Member. Mr. Edwin Jomauas, Provisional Member. Engineer Asistel M. Broas, Provisional Member and User. Engineer Joseph Balba, DPWH Head. Engineer Winona Marie Alegre, DPWH Assistant Head. Engineer Edmond Ernie, Back Secretariat Head. Miss Caroline Manzanero, Back Secretariat Member. Miss Justine Camille Bayona, Back Secretariat Member. And Mr. Joshua Philip Baybay, Back Secretariat Member. We would like to acknowledge the presence of our observer from CCWI, Mr. Ricardo Ortiz. With the presence of the aforementioned individuals, we have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, Engineer Mario. So again, good morning, everyone. The date today is June 16, 2025. The time now is 10:23 in the morning. And since we have a quorum amongst the members of the DPWH Cavite 2nd District Engineering Office back, as acknowledged by our back secretariat, I now call this Bids and Awards Committee meeting to order. So we are live today at the conference room, the second floor of the DPWH Cavite 2nd DEO in Alfonso, Cavite. So again, I would like to acknowledge everyone present, the members of the BAC, the DTWG, the Secretariat, and to all our observers present, and to all our contractors present also, our observers, and all those who may be watching online. Good morning to everyone. So for today's session, we have two agendas: the opening of bids for 3 civil works projects, opening of technical proposals for 1 consultancy project, and opening of financial proposals for 3 consultancy services. So for our civil works projects, 80, 90. So we will now proceed with our first agenda, the opening of bids for 3 civil works projects. These are contract ID 25DG0080 with the title Repair Rehabilitation of Classrooms, Amuyong Elementary School in Alfonso, Cavite, with an ABC of 10,714,268 pesos and 57 centavos. And contract ID 26DG0018 with the name Asset Preservation Program, Preventive Maintenance, Secondary Roads, Noveleta-Naic-Tagaytay Road, kilometer 43 plus -460 to kilometer 43 plus 13. This has an ABC of 22,711,238 pesos and 50 centavos. And the third project, contract ID 26DG0019, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Major Strategic Public Buildings Facilities, Rehabilitation of DILG Building in Barangay Kaybagal South, Tagaytay City, Cavite, with an ABC of 9,899,943 pesos and 98 centavos. So, upon verification on our email, we have received zero or no online electronic bids submitted. So we'll now proceed with the opening of the first envelope For the first project, contract ID 25DG0080, may I now request the Secretariat to please assist in presenting the bid submitted. So again, may I remind everyone to ensure a smooth process, we will follow the non-discretionary pass or fail criteria. We will first open envelope 1, which contains eligibility and technical documents. The financial proposals of those who pass the technical requirements and eligibility processing through civil works application will be then open to evaluate their completeness. So please take note that these are only preliminary examination of bids. The documents submitted will still undergo a detailed evaluation and post-qualification by our technical working group to determine their authenticity and compliance. So again, going back to contract ID 25DG0080, we have received a total of 2 bids. First from ZLMA Construction and second from Houseland Construction. So upon checking, all submitted bids are found to be in order and properly sealed. So may I now request the Secretariat to please open the submitted bids and open envelope number 1. So we will now also proceed in the presentation of the bid submitted for contract ID 26DG0019. So upon checking, we have received a total of 2 bids. First from IGB Design and Construction and second from PGM Construction and Plumbing Services. So upon checking, all bids are found to be in order and properly sealed. So may I now request the Secretariat to please open the bids and present the envelope number 1. Sound check. So announcing the results for the preliminary examination of envelope number 1 for contract ID 25DG0080 for ZLMA Construction. The overall rating is pass. For Houseland Construction, the overall rating is pass. So we'll now proceed with the eligibility processing of the bidders who passed through civil works application. So announcing also the results for the preliminary examination of the technical documents, technical proposal for contract ID 26DG0018. So for NB Avila Construction and Trading Corporation, passed. For SDWC Construction, overall rating, also passed. So again, we will now proceed with the eligibility processing of the bidders who passed through civil works application. Announcing also the results for the preliminary examination for contract ID 26DG0019 for the technical proposal. So for IGB Design and Construction, overall rating is pass. And for PGM Construction and Plumbing Services, overall rating is also pass. So again, we will now also proceed with the eligibility processing of the contractors through civil works application. Thank you. Again, may I remind everyone that these are only preliminary examinations of the bid. All bids submitted will still undergo a detailed bid evaluation and post-qualification by our technical working group. Thank you. So announcing the results for the eligibility checking for contract ID 25DG0080. So for Houseland Construction, passed. For ZLMA Construction, passed. So we will now proceed with the opening of the financial proposal of the bids. Again, may I request the back secretariat, please. So again, the submitted bids are found to be in order and properly sealed. So please proceed in the opening of the bids. So we now have the results for the preliminary examination of the financial documents for the bids for contract ID 25DG0080. So may I now request Secretariat to please read the results and the corresponding bid amounts. General Mario, please.
For 25 DG 0080, Houseland Construction. Total amount of bid, 10,590,933 pesos and 75 centavos. 105,90933.75. Bid security submitted, bid securing declaration, validity period 120 calendar days. Second bidder, ZLMA Construction. Total amount of bid, 10,607,631 pesos and 94 centavos. 10607,631.94. Bid security submitted, bid securing declaration, validity period 120 calendar days.
So again, for contract ID 25DG0080, the lowest submitted bid is from Houseland Construction with a total bid amount of 10,590,933 pesos and 75 centavos. Again, may I remind everyone that all bids submitted will still undergo a detailed bid evaluation and post-qualification by our TWG. So thank you. results for the eligibility checking for contract ID 26DG00180. So for SDW Construction, passed. For NB Avila Construction and Trading Corporation, also passed. So we will now proceed with the opening of the financial proposal for the bids for contract ID 26DG0018. So may I request the back secretariat please to present the bid submitted. Announcing also the results for the eligibility checking for the bid submitted for the contractors who submitted their bids for contract ID 26DG0019. So for IGB Design and Construction, passed. For PGM Construction and Plumbing Services, also passed. So again, may I request the Secretariat to please present the financial components of the submitted bids for contract ID 26DG0019. Original ba? The preliminary examination for the financial proposals for the submitted bids for contract ID 26DG0018. So may I now request the back secretariat to please read the corresponding results and the corresponding bid amounts.
For 26DG0018, first bidder, SDWC Construction. Total amount of bid, 22,250,865 pesos and 97 centavos. 22,250,865.97. Bid security submitted, bid securing declaration, validity period 120 calendar days. Last bidder, NV Avila Construction and Trading Corporation. NB Avila Construction and Trading Corporation. Total amount of bid, 22,262,874 pesos and 51 centavos. 22,262,874.51. Bid securing T submitted, bid securing declaration, validity period 120 calendar days.
Again, for contract ID 26DG0018, the lowest submitted bid is from SDWC Construction with an amount of 22,250,865 pesos and 97 centavos. Again, these are only preliminary examinations of the bids. All submitted bids will still undergo a detailed bid evaluation and post-qualification by our technical working group. Thank you. So, we now also have the results for the preliminary examination of the financial proposal for contract ID 26DG0019. So, again, may I now request the Secretariat to please read the results of the preliminary examination and the corresponding submitted bid amounts. Thank you.
For 26DG0019, first bidder, IGB Design and Construction. Total amount of bid, 9,791,187 pesos and 71 centavos. 9,791,187.71. Bid security submitted, bid securing declaration, validity period 120 calendar days. Last bidder, PGM Construction and Plumbing Services. Total amount of bid, 9,801,190 pesos and 32 centavos. 9,801,190.32. Bid security, submitted bid securing declaration, validity period 120 calendar days.
So again, for contract ID 26DG0019, the lowest submitted bid is from IGB Design and Construction with the submitted bid of 9,791,187 pesos and 71 centavos. So again, all bids submitted will still undergo a detailed bid evaluation and post-qualification by our TWG, as these are only preliminary examinations of the bid. Thank you. So I think that concludes the opening of bids for the civil works projects for today's session. So we will now proceed with our next agenda. The opening of the submitted financial proponents for the 3 consultancy projects. Again, for information and transparency, these are contract IDs 25 CSDG03 with the name of Consultancy Services for the conduct of preliminary and detailed engineering (PDE) activities, geotechnical investigation for various projects within General Emilio Aguinaldo, Cavite, with an ABC of 8,499,993 pesos and 99 centavos. Second, contract ID 25 CSDG04, the Consultancy Services for the conduct of preliminary and detailed engineering (PDE) activities, geotechnical investigation for various projects within Tagaytay City, Alfonso, Magallanes, and Mendez, Cavite, with an ABC of 13,499,998 pesos and 44 centavos. And third, contract ID 26 CSDG01, the Consultancy Services for the conduct of preliminary and detailed engineering activities, geotechnical investigation for various projects within Naic and Ternate, Cavite, with an ABC of 1,999,972 pesos and 65 centavos. So we will now open the submitted bids for the submitted financial proposals for those consultants or consultants who pass our shortlisting. So may I now request the Secretariat to please present the submitted financial proposals. Again, these are only preliminary examinations of the bids. All bids submitted will still undergo a detailed post-qualification by our technical working group to determine the highest rated responsive bid for this consultancy services. Thank you. So now, may I request the Secretariat to please present the submitted financial proposals for contract ID 25 CSDG03. Again, for contract ID 25 CSDG03, we have received 2 proposals. First from MJAS Zenith Geomapping and Surveying Services, and second from Rolando C. Sison Surveying Office. So upon checking, all bids submitted are found to be in order and properly sealed. So again, may I now request the Secretariat to please proceed with the preliminary examination. So to proceed, may I now request the Secretariat to please present the submitted proposals for contract ID 25 CSDG04. So again, for contract ID 25 CSDG04, we have received 2 bids. First from Terms Concrete Testing, and second from Rolando C. Sison Surveying Office. So upon checking, all bids submitted are found to be in order and properly sealed. So may I now request the Secretariat to please proceed with the evaluation of the financial proposal submitted. So we will now proceed also with the opening of the proposals for contract ID 26 CSDG01. So may I now request the Secretariat to please present the submitted proposals. So for contract ID 26 CSDG01, we have received 2 proposals from the shortlisted consultants. First from MJAS Zenith Geomapping and Surveying Services, and second from Rolando C. Sison Surveying Office. So upon checking, all bids submitted are found to be in order and properly sealed. So may now request the Secretariat to please proceed with the opening for the preliminary examination of the submitted proposals. Thank you. So, pag may check, okay na. Yun lang yun. Sound check. So, announcing the results for the preliminary examination of the financial proposal for contract ID 25 CSDG 03 for the submitted proposal of MJAS Zenith Geomapping and Surveying Services. Overall rating is pass. And for the submitted bid proposal of Rolando Decision Surveying Office, overall rating is also pass. So again, may remind everyone that these are only preliminary examinations of the submitted documents. So all bids submitted will still undergo a detailed bid evaluation and post-qualification by our TWG, and combining with the results of the evaluation of the technical proposal in order to determine the highest rated responsive bid. Thank you. So announcing also the results for the preliminary examination on the financial proposal submitted for contract ID 25 CSDG 04. So first, from Rolando Decision Surveying Office, overall rating is passed. For terms concrete testing, overall rating is pass. So also announcing the results for the preliminary examination for contract ID 26 CSDG01 for the submitted bid by MJAS Zenith Geomapping and Surveying Services, overall rating is pass. And for Rolando Decision Surveying Office, overall rating is pass. So again, I would like to remind everyone that these are only preliminary examinations of the bid. All proposals submitted will still undergo a detailed bid evaluation and post-qualification by our TWG, and combining with the results of the evaluation and post-qualification in our technical proposal submitted by our shortlisted consultants in order to determine who will be our highest rated responsive bid. Thank you. So with no other bids to be opened for the financial proposal for consultancy services, we will now proceed with our last agenda, the opening of bids for the technical proposal for one consultancy services project. So this is for contract ID 26 CSDG02 with the title Consultancy Services for the conduct of preliminary and detailed engineering PDE activities, parcellary survey of Maragondon, Magallanes, Amuyong Road in Cavite, Barangay Kaybagal 1 and 2 in Alfonso, Cavite, with an ABC of 2,999,483 pesos and 80 centavos. So for this session, we will now open the technical proposal submitted by our shortlisted consultants. So may I now request the Secretariat to please proceed with the presentation of the submitted bids for contract ID 26 CSDG02. Bid, ang sabi ko. So again, for contract ID 26 CSDG02, we have received one bid from the shortlisted consultant. This is from Terms Concrete Testing. So again, one bid from Terms Concrete Testing, and upon checking, upon ocular inspection, the submitted bid is found to be properly sealed and to be in order. So may I now request the Secretariat to please proceed in the opening and the presentation of the submitted bid. Yung may puppet para mahirapan. So, announcing the result for the submitted technical proposal for contract ID 26CSDG02. So, from terms, concrete testing, overall rating is passed. So, again, this will still undergo a detailed evaluation and post-qualification by our TWG. And the opening of the submission for the deadline for the submission of the financial proposal will be on June 23. Opening will be on June 23, 2026. So again, may I remind everyone that these are only preliminary examination of the submitted bids and proposals. So all of this will still undergo a detailed bid evaluation and post-qualification by our technical working group to determine the lowest calculated responsive bid for civil works projects and the highest rated responsive bid for consultancy services. So there being no other bids to be opened, the DPWH Secretariat is hereby reminded to record all bid prices and the results of the preliminary examinations. All done. Okay. So before we end, are there any concerns with the from the members of the DPWH, from the Secretariat, from the TWG? So there being no other concerns, thank you all for your coming and for your cooperation. Also, I would like to thank the contractors and the consultants who submitted their bids, and thank you to all the observers, the online viewers, for your participation. So, with no other concerns, this session is now adjourned at exactly 11:27 in the afternoon. Thank you and good morning again.